Hey, Georgia fans, it's Cole here. Just want to come on by and say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. And for those of you who aren't paying attention, you probably owe Georgia an apology too. If you're new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football every single day. I talk NFL, I talk MLB, I talk NHL, I talk NBA, but I love talking college football. And if this is the type of content you enjoy, this is the channel made for you. So subscribe down below, leave a comment, and tell me your thoughts about Georgia football moving into the final month of the regular season. Tell your friends, your family, your uncles, your sisters, your brothers, the drunk guy in a Waffle House parking lot on Saturdays about this channel. Because if we get to 1,000 subscribers by November 15th, I will shave my head live on air. Yep, 3 shows a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, 1,000 subscribers by November 15th. Hair, Lex Luthor style, gone. Call me Daddy Warbucks from here on out. But make sure you hit subscribe to everyone about this. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at Mr. Cole Thompson. And let's talk college football. Georgia, 43. Florida, 20. In the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, the only drinks that were being served were a nice bright red because the Bulldogs, once again, dominated. And I don't think that it's really unfair to say that we had doubts about Georgia going into this game because there was a reason for it. Georgia this year had been so heavily reliant in the passing attack on Brock Bowers that usually we put all the other names to the wayside, and we didn't really pay attention to what Carson Beck was doing through his progression in year 1 as a quarterback, or how the run game was starting to gain a little bit of steam now that you were fully healthy and you had Deshaun Edwards playing well, and you had now Kendall Milton playing well. And the offensive line was starting to find its rhythm a little bit at this point. And so the entire thought process for many of us out there was Georgia is going to find a way to mess things up. Because now that they don't have Brock Bowers, what are they going to turn to? The only reason they won against Auburn was because number 19 was open 9 different freaking times to find the end zone. And once again, this is where I have to apologize. I'm sorry, Georgia. I'm sorry, Kirby. I'm sorry, Glenn Schumann. I'm sorry, Mike Bobo. I don't know why I'm apologizing to you, but I guess I will. This won't happen again. Because the same formula that we have seen for years on end at Athens, at Sanford Stadium, once again was on display yesterday. You're not going to have the best performance week 1. You're not going to come swinging out of the gate in week 2. You're going to have 2 or 3 really great games against lesser tier opponents, but by roughly late October to early November, this is where Georgia hits its stride. And they've done it the last 2 years, and they consistently have looked like the team to beat in the month of November. And lo and behold, the way that the offense played yesterday, that's the team to beat in college football. There's no other way around it. If this is the version of Georgia we get for the remainder of the year, that's the team to beat. Because offensively, you finally saw wide receivers step up in a big-time role. Ladd McConkey, over 100 receiving yards. And I get it. The back problems at the start of the year were a concern. Well, the only thing he was doing was putting Georgia on his back, finding his way to an average of 22.2 yards per play. Dominic Lovett, big day. Two catches of over 20 yards down the field, averaged 20.8 yards per play. Oscar Delp, new tight end, comes in, has a really strong performance. Dylan Bell, he's a 6'1" wide receiver from Houston, Texas, the sophomore. Big day. Had a huge touchdown pass at the end of the fourth quarter. That really set the tone, and it kind of iced the game ahead. And meanwhile, Carson Beck, it's time to give him a little bit of respect because Beck is one of the more underappreciated quarterbacks in college football. Yesterday, under duress multiple times, he was able to get that ball out at a timely manner, at a consistent basis, keep the sticks moving, the drive alive, and culminate in points. And this has been going on for several weeks now. Anybody that wants to turn back and look at some of the early stage performances, that's fine. Go for it. But also take in consideration, in his last 3 games, he has 7 touchdowns against 2 interceptions. He's completed at least 68% of his passes. He's only been sacked twice during that span. Oh, and he also has a passer rating roughly around 189.2. So the guy is playing lights out. And what's interesting is the way that he was able to learn underneath Stetson Bennett. He took all of those little tidbit traits and he waited and bided his time to finally get a chance to start. And the second that he did, he's not letting go of that starting role. He has been a major catalyst, an X factor for this offense that now has Georgia looking like not only the top team in the country, but a surefire frontrunner to three-peat in 2023 down in Houston, Texas. Defensively, you don't really worry about this team. And I don't think you have to, because we've seen what Georgia's done year in and year out defensively. And that's a testament of Kirby Smart and his ability to recruit. And it's a testament of Glenn Schumann and his ability to develop talent and find talent and put it in the right spots. You know, Malachi Starks is one of the best safeties in college football. And it was, you heard on the broadcaster stage, nobody really seemed to mention him because of how well everyone else was playing around him. Like, it'd be one thing for him to make a highlight grab and everyone be like, oh, yeah, there we go. That's great. No, you had great play from Tyke Smith, and you had great play from Kamari Lassiter, and you had great play from guys like up front in Jamon Dumas-Johnson, and you had great play from Samuel Modern Jr. and all these other role players, and that's good. You were able to corral very early on Florida's offense and make it one-dimensional. And you couldn't run the football. Like, they could not run the football against you. And isn't that what you're kind of looking for at this point? You're looking for a reason why Georgia is sticking out like a sore thumb. Nope. Not this game. Not this game at all. In fact, you could say right now, this game was a culmination of, oh, you forgot that we're actually really good. Here, let me just give you a quick reminder about what we can do when the bells and whistles are clicking. All three phases, they were great. And I know that you see that 20 at the end, but even though Graham Mertz did not have a bad day, that did not hinder any factor of there were some lackluster showcases from Florida's offense. And that's not because Florida was bad. Therein is your thing. It's because Florida had such a quality performance, and they still couldn't do anything about it. They still couldn't. You still saw the way that Georgia manhandled them. That would be considered a good day, I think, for Florida against most teams, and it's terrible against Georgia. And therein is why Georgia right now looks like to be the best team. Every year we have this conversation. Will Georgia fall off? Is Georgia going to stick around? And yes, now at this point, we're really stupid for believing anything otherwise. You have to be, because if Georgia is finding its rhythm without Brock Bowers, and I brought this up on my own show multiple times, what will Georgia look like when they're 3 sheets to the wind and realizing that their weapon X is no longer available? Probably 9-3, 10-2, dropping a game to say like a Tennessee. No, not the way that they played yesterday. The way they played in Jacksonville at a neutral site location in a very hostile atmosphere where, even though it was basically 50-50, it felt like it was just Georgia. The fan base was rocking and rolling. The way that the crowd atmosphere played a factor into the culmination and euphoric rise of what the Bulldogs did. That's a testament of where you are. And they have some very tricky games ahead. But you know what's really interesting? Now Georgia can puff out their chest. And when everyone else is like, well, look at the way we played, Georgia just has to go and point back to this game and go, exhibit A of why you can't win. Exhibit A of why you're not doing shit against us. Exhibit A of why you think that you run this show. All right, best of luck to you. And then you don't even shake hands. You just go to the sideline and let the mouth do, and you let the play on the field do the talking. That's what you have at your disposal. Georgia yesterday made a statement. Georgia yesterday played exceptional. Role players stepped up just like you want to see. Carson Beck is looking more and more comfortable in this offense. And the crazy part is there's still 4 weeks to go against several ranked teams. And yes, Missouri is going to be ranked. I will highly doubt Tennessee is not ranked. Ole Miss may be top 10. You get those wins on top of your quote-unquote cupcake schedule, yeah, you're easily not only punching your ticket to Atlanta, you're punching your way to the #1 seed in the college football playoff. And there's not really even a second doubt in mind. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.